wanted to kill agenda, but let's go straight. Now, as some way nende eda nipa bibrano, especially the NPP party of piglets. Now, ninyina say eye NPP for episode force scandal at the share gold board kum led by Afenyo Markin, the pedophile protector. Now, we are Ghanaian. Sometimes you ask yourself, say, gold board, you introduce here. Ghana buying through John Mahama buying Edibaye. Gold board, no. Dientina, a NDC buying by almost all the BBF and gold board ever. We need to start from the back. We will understand what is happening today. Now, Auditor General, our audit a gold board. Auditor General, audit gold board, we who discrepancies be. The Auditor General's report did not point to anywhere that Sammy Gyamfi's gold board, NDC gold board of the buyer, no, omo wiesika ana omo boka eguo. The Auditor General of Ghana, ono ena eba Ghana sika samu hwehwemu. Ono na yede ahye ne nsa constitution ama ne to me say bebia eye aban institution no wo ho kwan say obeden obehwehwe omo nkratem omo sika samanu. Na Auditor General no eye sa adwuma no Sammy Gyamfi gold board etam krata bia Auditor General ehia. As we sit here, the Auditor General be also or say charges gold board because obusa nkrata bia ne nsanka. Nobody from any institution that has been mandated to audit a gold board and can say na ya pese a gold board ya pese a audit omo nkrata mu ya hwem sikasem omo ampene. In fact, the Auditor General are confirmed say enkrata bi omo busa ye bia every gold board omo nsakaye. At the end of the audit, no, they didn't find any losses at gold board a year. Omo dwuma dienti omo aboka egu Ghana so a e was a Ghana for obitina bi because gold board aboka egu Ghana so. Now, the question here is gold board no omo dwuma die ni saying adenti na ti gold board. DNA Major Mahama Banka say you see ABB for the gold board. Ade kudi enti cocoa board. Ni nyina say na cocoa board anyhow. Aban tena se hu say eye Ghana ye gudie ba ko a sebio eboya ma oman etumpon eba sika sem totoyem se na ebetuma ton enya sika na ye cocoa. Aban no at the point be hu say cocoa no ye nuanom no bi etwa anase omutwa cocoa no ekoton no wa monane. Yagasa amonane a Ivory Coast, Togo, de inkura ebenye. Intina cocoa na yedua ne Ghana na ehon fa sopa na enya ne enya. Intaban transika say obeti institution be go cocoa board eno na be hwe so e make sure say Ghana ni bia ntumi wia cocoa enko Ivory Coast enko ton na ye ne Ghana fo e make adwemu na Ivory Coast ni bia no obetumi wia cocoa so da ba Ghana na sebio say cocoa no e wo ho a na yehu anoto. Enti the main reason the cocoa board buy say ebe protect your cocoa ye benya ho sika enye bi ede ahwe kuafo enye bi de aye kwan enye bi ede akwan enye bi ede ama scholarship. So the basic thing was to protect cocoa na eno so ye gudie da home. For a long time cocoa board aso Ghana sene when it comes to your sika sam your budget be baby na your cocoa board sika ehim e ma no tumi gina eba ye ka bia ye tuatua na brocha na cocoa board buy no ye tumi ti cocoa nyamfa so de tua ye ka nti ebe ye something na abeg say part of us ye ntumi enchechire man no without making sure say cocoa board ni sika sam entoto ye ene de ebenya cocoa board na gina na so nti that was the idea. Now for a long time gold na ye de boy ho samra hene e wo Africa ni wiase nyina no ye be hu say ye gold dodo a ye tu no Ghana no na nipa bebre o Ghana omfa ekwanpa entu gold no. Secondly, ye be hu say nipa bi abawura Ghana ye gold no omutu no kwan bone so e na omo sade gold no e dwane kwa abruchiri koton. Second, that means ni enya ho mfaso. Thirdly, ye hu say de ye nimra bia ebetumi ama gold na abedi ensem ye ni ankasa ye betuma fa kwan paso ato na ye siesie na ya tona monone na sika na sa begu ensem na ye di bi adane dollar edi egu ye nchi as reserves na ye ni bi nti eno so ka ho e na aban ka se dabi ye behia bibia ye friend gold board nti gold board juma de ni nyina ne se eba abebo ye gudi a nipa bi area ye gudia Chinese for India for Lebanese for abesha Ghana no money ni pebi te se chairman wontumi bawomia MPP for AD in sawoso area ye fa ye gudia ne ko enti John Mahama ka se o se otwaso mo kai se MPP what power ye be afraid gold for oil buy if you say drum pempenso bi na Ghana say de benya fango e de Ghana for atono efo ama ye nyina ho atoto ne ye bi e na MPP for we ya ntwam we e be ka kire say ba wo mia so de ade bi abefriend gold for oil na Ghana gold no omutu a chema wontumu tu no kwan bone so omo ne galamse for ka omuti bom no mutu no kwan bone so a omo betumi de ama a third party an intermediary a friend no edian Alpha Stream now what they are Dubai akoton owia no sa Alpha Stream na to petrol de abreye abranka ye ne gold no ye betuma tam de akọ world market so e New York stock market and I said the UK ne aton officially na ya edey ye de aba beto fan gold de aba no omo ka se da bi omo wo broni bi Arab ni bi ono na betam gold no de akọ yetena krom ha Mahmoud Bawumia ne MPP ntwambo e ka kire se gold for oil no ene de be ma fango boayefo e wo Ghana ye jiminti ye ka se yo ena Bawumia ne group e start se omutu ye nsase omoma India for Lebanese for ba ya omo de excavators begu Ghana chema untumi na abo captain's band rekuduka gabimo ena no omo sensase adekudientia gold for oil Mahmoud Bawumia MPP for antumi ankoton gold no wo amanone proper na say na gold dodo na eba gold for oil no na eye illegal gold enti abrofo no so ahye bi Saudi gold baba aya abrochire America beton ama dollar ma odi akokuru akoto fango a e wo say gold no ye free be traceability. You need to be able to trace the gold. Baby a utu no sebio e yankwara ne tuye e mercury bi na odi asase no e galamsey a chema untumi entina ba omia untumi nya saa because na e galamsey sikanti omo cut out e America UK a market ne better no e no mo fa Alpha Stream so on fa kuti kwan so nkoton illegal gold na chema untumi MPP fotu no na on santo petro e fomfamra. They were trying to evade. They were trying to move around or go around the legitimate way because the people say Ghana and UK are fine, and America are fine. I didn't think you go there per se. You tough ango, you fanko turn America, ne tough ango famba. And so ba we can say that be Alpha Stream no fanko Dubai because abrochire no America for the UK for me say gold no tu no wen. Emra ben na de ball ban ma utumi two gold no ubetuma chere baby gold free no mun ready some answer that question because na chere ma untumi or ye galamsey campaign sa time no na ketijemfu a etu na omo Chinese for ka mutuma bueni e na omo sense ase wo Ghana Frimpong Boateng na o ye sector minister o hwe sene ye tu egudie ni asase o chiro krata koma Akufo de say nana yani enkofo na say at a point party here sikayete omo ka che Frimpong Boateng say wabodam Akufo de krata ahihye ne to ekotena menhia ka che otumfo so omo ye nkwara na bibie ni ho yetena kurum ha me chiro baby a gold board de ma John Mahama nyansa ene NDC forecast Sammy Gyamfi nkoda no me chiro wechi say na be akwase bi betena TikTok kwase bi betena Facebook say gold board aboka wo so wonimu ye hare me chiro mu midwudwam me ya ne simple na Ghana for na nsam na bana amanfo bi twantro mo betinyo manase enti ye didim te se menhia dondon ye didim ade se menhia dondon ena NDC ba power ena John Mahama say they see wo gold mafia on pese be sibiem okay gold mafia Alistair the Mr. S Alistair mokai gold mafia nana do danko Akufo de ka so control letter ma Al Jazeera na onu gold smuggling na de ne din abem no on tia se ekosi sen Akufo do ye kromfo tetwia mo aboaten o ye wi nana do danko Akufo in the history of the Republic of Ghana ye nye documentary abroche network bia so mbo president din say wa fe ne to ton illegal gold ye bo Akufo do din wom omo ka kire se omo ko siw Al Jazeera omo ma Al Jazeera warning ebesi nde yante sa nyomedim na John Mahama ka se ompede sa kro no be koso biem o Ghana yembo ye gudie no ho ban ye make sure se ye de mra atoto kwan mu ama egudie na ejina ne na so ye betumi tunu kwan pa so ye betumi ehun bebia ye tu no ye betumi aton ye ne ankasa ya ton ye betumi make sure se omo ba ye krom ha omo wi egudie ko India China no ye betwa so na ye betumi aboy ensase ho ban no or the bibia friend gold board. Anytime John Mahama introduce idea friend gold board Now gold board in say ye sika ye goodie na nipa bi area ede kwan bɔ ne so etu a ye nya ho mfaso a ye Ghana for ye bre ho no e wo say ye bɔ ho ban na de mfaso bre ye every say tokuro na abeda ho no e tokuro a wo say ye si. That is the introduction of gold board. Into John Mahama said abi they say we are no you need to take care of yourself into offer abrante Afenyo Sammy Gyamfi say kwada no na gold board djumadi akodi no in the interests of the Republic of Ghana, the people's gold. Go there and make sure say djumadi bi obedibia no benya Ghana benya ho mfaso. That basically that is it. Now gold board buy obebusa say gold board djumadi be no modi 2025 ena parliament ejitu mu say gold board betumi di djuma. Remember yen nyina yet Ghana ha obi ha yetumi fa ne se beza yetumi fa ne se treasurer e company bi mu obi yetumi fa ne se accountant. Oh ya fa accountant we adwuma ya ma na adwuma se onko adwuma wo ebia ministry bi ana institution ana school bi. Now ya ma accountant ne letter January. Na letter mu no e kire se obe start adwuma March, but he needs to report and do what? Familiarize himself with how the work goes. Meaning, even though yama accountant na letter no, wako school hona or hono, officially the accountant na juma starting March. And all you people watching me, civil servants for now gold board NDC winning power 2025. The gold board no officially started after Parliament of Ghana basically came out and said say yenyina jiatum MPP ntwamwa and NDC former parliament ebetena say they are the people's representatives. MPP ni be all parliament, NDC ni be all parliament no, they don't represent animals, they represent human beings. They all came together and said yaji gold board atum. So for now no ya mo mutumi so betuma to gold ometuma protect gold ometumi aden I make sure so tracy omo ton gold na omo wia no omo stop omo protect Ghana omo de sika bebe fie by selling right gold omo say into the 2 million ma gold board in 2025 somewhere in when September. Now gold board buy ni nyina no na NPP are buying first no yakoto gold na Bank of Ghana wone media. Bank of Ghana is a banker, Constitution of the Republic of Ghana etiye enyo bia dia Ghana dia time na MPP wa power no na Bank of Ghana person mo to gold every small scale miners were legitimately na omo di sika no de ma PMMC into PMMC for intermediaries. Omuna etoto gold from 2017, 2018, 19, 20 time but we had gold for oil buy from 2021, 22, 23. Bank of Ghana tam Ghana sika normally ama PMMC. Se mo ena mo nkoto gold na mo famra na nkoto nya ho mfaso. Now what happened then they say that period na omototo gold Emma Bank of Ghana no till say Parliament bejitu mu say Sammy Gyamfi the gold board ebe to take over no. Sa period no to time as Sammy Gyamfi mu take off no about $400 million and over. Ain't Sammy Gyamfi's gold board was there, but Sammy Gyamfi gold board no take over officially to be dealing with Bank of Ghana as a middle agency and I say intermediary after a year the Parliament of Ghana can say Afenyo gold board monster tie juma. Ain't from 2025 until Parliament Eshemra say gold board etumi etuto gold ma Bank of Ghana no na PMMC any the Bank of Ghana any dijuma. So Sammy Gyamfi the gold board had been established but they didn't have control on the buying of gold for the Bank of Ghana because PMMC were still doing that job until Parliament gave gold board right to buy. Into Hona gold board Parliament share we and say ya jimwatum Emrano Chese Bomuchino. That is when Sammy Gyamfi started buying gold for the Bank of Ghana. And I'm saying Sammy Gyamfi because on the leading gold board. Now, the question here is, and the MPP for Abba say, hey, Asame si. Now Asame ne si. A year MPP for Sammy Gyamfi boka. Remember, time na NPP were power from 2021 to 2025 onto gold board Parliament ejitum so muyejuma Omoboka over $400 million. Sa time no MPP yebusa omo say adena gold board adena PMMC aboka omo say Bank of Ghana na aboka. That is what Baumia Afenyo Markin when san kwasiafo e ka kire. That time na PMMC boka over 400 million in the name say omo to gold ma Bank of Ghana no. Baumia and this MPP for ka kire say sa e kana over $400 million no a Bank of Ghana na abo na enye PMMC. Intima me yembe blame PMMC yem blame Bank of Ghana. Now, ye the demand abedru hande Ghana Auditor General aye audit of gold board sikasem also ohun problem bia. Ye see IMF phobia chro a report. Na sa report ni mu no ye see the IMF say the gold board aboka 1.7 billion. Now the question here is Ghana Auditor General report no, what does it say? And where in that IMF report and explicitly it can directly say gold board aboka 1.7 billion. Where in that report of IMF and it explicitly say gold board aboka. Remember, when the Bank of Ghana does not give money to gold board cannot buy gold. It is recently and a gold board they want to do that on their own, but without money coming from Bank of Ghana, the gold board since its established inception could not go into the market to buy gold because the constitution frowns on them buying gold themselves until say the Bank of Ghana say they can fund it themselves. So Tama Sammy Gyamfi Eddie gold board a leader no gold board were taking money from Bank of Ghana to buy gold for them. Now, let's keep it simple. MP before say, Sammy Gyamfi, Ameka bi binchiramo. Menoti hai, sika saying na gold board edi abre Ghana. Enfa so ban yenya oso. Edi na ayama Ghana. Since the gold board the buy no, ye gold that you tunu Ghana no. Ghana as a nation, from time Kwame Nkrumah abre so be sin there. Enfa so ben pa na yenya himself for now as we speak. Gold board in a year it me making a profit of $15 billion. $15 billion. Now, because of Jumadia Gold Board AD and the economy, the inflation about from how the dollar to me overcoming the city. It is because of the introduction of a Juma Gold Board, Ayama Bank of Ghana. The intermediary job at Gold Board, etime raise sika, Ayama Bank of Ghana. And no na Abuama Finance Minister, etime nye sika, and making sure say your economy no ejina na so. It is all a businessman. Nende, when we say dollar nijina 10, 11. Now we Juma cost na wunyam faswa. Because of the inception of Gold Board, the way they were able to go into the market. Abra Bank of Ghana more musika to buy gold to make money for Ghana. Now, so we go back and you look at the influencer Gold Board, the positive influencer Gold Board Enyanwo Ghana economy nuswa. Our economy is growing, jobs and opportunity. Now, when you look at it from 2022, ever since 2023, you saw a GDP growth. As we speak today, GDP in 2026 is 6.4. In 2022, time about gold for oil, the GDP growth was 3.8. 2023, it went to 3.1. 2024, it was at 5.7. In just less than 2 years, because of the introduction of Gold Board and making sure that Ghana will sikada hono, the GDP right now is at 6.4. It shows you say the introduction of Gold Board save your cocoa and jumana cocoa and the Gold Board mujisika Bank of Ghana juma today our economy is stable. We will go to where the MPP is coming from and I'll take care of that. But my conversation way a simple amount. The MPP before your time Sammy Gyamfi. Afenyo Markin, the all your time Sammy Gyamfi. MPP for him say Gold Board as this thing there's no way MPP come to power again. That is their problem. MPP as a political party from Bawumia to the last foolish man in the MPP. They know, say, the game changer is Gold Board. And John Mahama Niminyan saw this Sammy Gyamfi. It is personal, a hatred towards Sammy Gyamfi. And then they are against Ghana's economy doing well, because Gold Board has shown significant impact on our economy. Whether you like it or not, whether you like Sammy Gyamfi or not, whether you are against the NDC or not, the impact that Gold Board on our economy is huge. It is big. Now, when you look at some of the positives through the works of Gold Board, buying gold the right way, protecting our reserve, making sure Obi or Ghana be able to gold legitimately, gold be free Ghana and come and be system. That positive side, and then Ama Ghana is sick as a major. In time for him until they destroy Gold Board, they know say they can never come to power, and that is what they are doing. Because Ubusom say at this point. Munjina swane the say Gold Board aboka 1.7 billion. Munchechirima almost an inchechirimu, but then say Sammy Gyamfi muadie. Gold Board disika. I am a factual report to be. Yeni ati yankwa any enemy situation before and now, and we will choose that situation today because enyako anticipate day we are seeing significant increase in how our economy is doing now. Prices rising slower now, and because of the introduction of Gold Board. Any Jumadi any Sikomu pumping war system over 15 billion in T. We are looking at inflation from 23 at a point in our history, and the MPP gold for oil, not inflation, and 54. Today, because of the introduction of Gold Board and the way we are able to pump money to help the economy keep dollars, our inflation are dropping from 54 NPP every power. Now, omoya gymnastics azadi 23, but today we are talking about 5.3. You can say inflation, normal body, and the NDC are test swab 5.3. Gold Board has been in power or existence in less than 2 years, and this is the impact. Sammy Gyamfi Gold Board na here. Me mana a basic amount. Bro, from GTV, so can almost Jimmy, omni the when I'm reading come, the echo. Because the NPP knows, as far as John Mahama's Gold Board exists, they can never come to power. Because it is the bedrock, it is the backbone, it is what is driving this country. Gold, cocoa, and daso for years, people have been able to do what? Destroy cocoa, and we are reforming cocoa sector. A new policy is coming, but in the meantime, John Mahama to me the Gold Board are regularizing the gold and this fee. Into the MP for Bakan and say, Yanko chart run to Sammy Gyamfi so. Yanko cast a Gold Board on Waboka. Inti Ebasana, no montam Ghana, my son to me, Abedio Matro. It is not working. Now, we can also move forward and see the impact of Gold Board. We are my address sa a canasem. The country owes less. Now, me busa o Ghana ni awhweme Ghana pa ehini enye free. John Mahama about power, NPP about NDC about power. Busa who say na John Mahama aban wo munye sika free na omo chichire man no. And yeah, kwan baby Kumasi Accra Express Road, see hospitals, electrification. Busa who say omo sika way, because we all know say right now the cocoa sector, they are now doing reforms to get it back on its feet. Into sika way. It is Gold Board. And then the MPP cannot stand because Mahamudu Bawumia cannot make any statement. Because the question will be simple. The Gold Board that was introduced by the NDC is savvy or minor. He has nothing to say because he was given the opportunity. He connived with the criminals. They stole our money through gold for oil. But this is a situation a government comes, a president comes, puts together Gold Board, and our economy is now sustainable. The question here is, who are Ghana now? Busa won't say just free. In Ghana, Adebi. GRA. GRA. From GRA. How many people pay taxes in Ghana? 6 in 10 businesses fail to properly account for VAT. So we 10 companies in Ghana. 6 businesses. Omuntimimpo enkase VAT we ya JVAT sikani ya bede ya diskani ma amino. Sikani free. Most of us, our businesses don't pay taxes. Into the sudden change, our economy will grow, Jumeba, Sikana Jan National, but I also free. It is the introduction of the Gold Board. The amount of money pumping into the system through buying gold for Bank of Ghana. Inti, man, you what you say? Sikabi magically free baby bow. It is the inception of Gold Board. The way diligently they are doing the job, buying the gold, protecting the gold, guiding us, making sure they protect our environment, stop illegal air smuggling, and then they are bedruha into the NPP. They have take notice. Omunim say, so we can try to Sammy Gyamfi so. Be creating pressure be Sammy Gyamfi aboka no. the gold board is saving you and I. We are businessman. Nende, who took quite 3 weeks now, but it is because of the introduction of gold board helping the Bank of Ghana to do what? To get money for us to get dollar to protect our economy. Realistically, 10 out of 10 business, 6 out of 10 businesses in Ghana, if you have a country where 6 in 10 businesses, how can you build a road? How can you build a school? How can you do all that you are doing? Keep the lights on. It is because the gold board is making a difference. Deliberate. Said that 1992. Jandam is not working. Now, may I go back to the gold board matter. Now, the issue itself. Yes, Sammy Gyamfi. Gold board na boka. Now let me tell you something. When it comes to taking decisions to save a nation's economy, say wo ufie na say o pese ufie no say be to me keeping there's something we call it should come with costs. Now when I say it should come with costs, there's a difference between costs and loss. Costs and losses. So what do sika she bibim with the mentality says sa sika na odi shemu no at the end of the day or say a yield results bia that moment sika na odi shemu no it is your cost. Now when you want to revamp how gold is mined, you want to get a lot of revenue from gold that you to know Ghana. It's not just saying somebody gold board. No. So be one okay be a gold border. You need something we call a drastic action. You yourself, you need to feel the pain. Now, if you say gold board aboka, let's say it's also gold board aboka. Now, in the report, it shows clearly gold board technically were working for Bank of Ghana. If the Bank of Ghana had a problem with gold board, they would have stopped gold board from doing what? Buying gold for them. But the Bank of Ghana did not do that. The Bank of Ghana was still doing business with gold board. Because gold board can only be effective when they get money from the Bank of Ghana. Now, that report now, IMF Troy now, the MPP are rallying behind it. Some report, the IMF was basically saying, you cannot come out with gold board and decide to make drastic decisions to bring in revenue without having costs involved. When you put together gold board, so what's the gold board? How is it going to be effective? Say gold board Jessica or Bank of Ghana ho. That's what I say. Did drama Bank of Ghana? Anybody can do it. Send a PMMC ho and Baumia at the intina over $15 billion like gold board. It is because the cost involved to make sure you seal the loopholes for Bank of Ghana to understand and have confidence in you. It comes with a cost. It's a cost. Now, I'm sure the difference are what is making the MPP struggle to understand the report of the IMF. Now, when you take your time and ask yourself these two questions, the simplest way to understand it, costs. Like I said, costa. What you give up to achieve something. I will explain something to you. And like I said, loss, when what you get back is worthless than what you put in. In Tiagas Obia Boka, meaning say, or the Sika ko share you maybe, and or the 10 million ko share no, or no, Sika about back near 1 million, waboka. Now, like I said, costa. Sika odisha bibim ana de odisha bibimwa at the end of the day you achieve something bigger, meaning no matter how you look at it, you need to invest if you really want to make revenue. And it's a Bank of Ghana any gold board. I catch up said the gold board technically they have made more money for Ghana, but MPP for said no, gold board has made a loss because they are trying to put together costs and loss. Now so I say yes, simple bawa. I say at a point in our life, not a team like Manchester City, no more we need trophies. A team like PSG, no more we need trophies. Why do you think today Manchester City is one of the biggest clubs in the world? Because Arab Fonbeto team, they told themselves, we want to be also seen as one of the greatest teams in the world. So what did they do? They had to put money. So they had a plan, but before that plan can work, We need an expensive coach, Guardiola. We need expensive stadium. We need to put money in and do what? Rebrand the team. We have to make sure every player we buy is an expensive player. What Man City management did was that they knew to be part of one of the greatest teams in the world, to win Champions League, to win World Club Championship, to be recognized, it comes with a cost. It comes at a cost. Without you putting in, because their target was that they wanted to win the Champions League. Their target was that they wanted to be counted as one of the greatest teams around. Their plan was that they wanted to have a good coach. Now, it comes to a cost. Even though at the end of the day, say cost, say, idea, say, yield the results be, then that cost can never be a loss. Now, Manchester City, etamusika, and on the share, a team. The idea was that today's cost should yield something better. Now, we are talking about Manchester City from nowhere has become one of the greatest teams in the world. Now, how many Champions League the Manchester City have? So many of them. Do you know how much money they got from it? How many Club World Championships the Manchester City have? So many of them. Do you know how much money they made from it? Today, you cannot poach a Manchester City player because you need billions. Now, the cost they put in building the team, has it become a loss or it has become what we call something positive? At that moment when they were putting the money in, it was a cost. Now, Manchester City have made so much money that some of the 5 billion Shema today, the end game is that they have made 20 billion. Are you going to say, when they were spending, when the cost was going on, you are going to say they made losses? They didn't make any loss. So when you want to change something, you need to understand, a cost needs to happen. And that cost is not a loss. And then as Sammy Gyamfi, Bank of Ghana, explaining, IMF for Ghana for Ghana to bring in gold board, for gold board to make a difference, we need a cost. It comes with a cost. It comes with technology. It comes with, so the gold buying, Bank of Ghana giving gold board money to go into the system. It's not just going to work in the system and buying gold. You need to make sure, nobody can steal gold from Ghana. You need to make sure the smuggling stops. You need to make sure every gold that you are buying is legitimately mined. You need to make sure the system, people are doing the right thing. It comes at a cost. Why didn't PMMC do it? Because they didn't have the mind. And so because you say gold board Aboka 1.7 billion. Sammy Gyamfi said no, that was a cost. It's administrative cost, meaning you would need that to get to the $15 billion. There's nowhere that anybody can sit, any economist can sit and say gold board has made losses. Gold board made 15 billion. Let's say gold board Sika must say 1.7 billion, any 15 billion. How did we arrive at 15 billion? It is because of the cost we put in there. So when you are recording the books, Ghana gold board Aboka 1.7 billion. The fact of the case is it was a cost. And from the beginning, gold board catcher said this is an administrative cost. Because before you can get the 15 billion, you cannot just say it. You just have to make sure you put things in place. Into who in your right senses one and because gold board Aboka. Today, the Black Stars of Ghana, we want to win the African Cup of Nations. How are we going to do it? The GFA needs to commit to a coach that is expensive, experienced. When that coach comes, he might want a backroom staff. We need to pay. That coach might come and say, you know something, the turf that we are using, we don't have any stadium in Ghana. Our pitch near Papa, we need to put him. That thing we do is a cost. It's a cost because we want to arrive at a point. Now, when we are not able to arrive at a point, then you can tell me it's a loss. But the cost should be able to propel you to win the African Cup of Nations. It's coach the Nations Cup. Now, after all this cost we put into it, pay him so much money, giving a backroom staff money, build it. Now, say, winning Nations Cup. Now, Sasika spending making sure he wins the Nations Cup is 6 million. Now, the Nations Cup near winning $10 million. Now, to also call a World Cup near winning $30 million. Will you call that cost as a loss? No. Into the MPP are struggling between loss and cost. And then Momoka say IMF say by gold board Aboka the gold board has not messed up any money. Because you can say introduce gold board, that just said now PMMC or say you gold board here. Why is gold board doing something different? Because the things they are doing, it is geared towards something positive. In the end, Sammy Gyamfi bet market say I've brought in over $15 billion. Not everybody can bring it in. Why? Because at a cost, we've been able to achieve this. At a cost, you will achieve what you want to achieve. unless somebody catch him say Sammy Gyamfi the $300,000 spent by and the cost 1.7, that I can record as a loss. But as we speak, the cost at the end of the day has achieved 15 billion. So why do you say it's a cost? It's a loss. It's not a loss. But on say MPP for Jimmy. The MPP are stupid. They be American so Jimmy, social media for, radio for. They are stupid to the point they don't understand the basics. But these are things that you want to do politics. In terms of the Sammy Gyamfi buyer or it's not about the law, so it's about Sammy Gyamfi muadie. I don't know, Kasa Chap, Markin Kwasian Penisa, now Afenyo Nimyansa, so Nya Kwasia, or a lawmaker Nimyansa, the kind of words he used in his press conference, you see. The MPP is stupid. Jimmy. So there's no loss here. It was a cost that needed to be able to get to the point where we wanted to get to. And the gold board, 15 billion and over because of that cost we put in. And from day one, administrative cost can never be a loss. When the administrative cost is not less than what? The outcome, it is never a loss. Now, the administrative cost is less than the end game, what they got as a result. The administrative cost, if even it is 1.7 billion, then through that administrative cost, we have 15 billion. So where is the loss? It's a simple question. And Debiano, we went on a break. I was listening to people, and you can see there are so many people on TV, radio, Jimmy, they don't know what they are talking about. Even the statement from the IMF report, it was clearly telling Ghana for say, you know what? To achieve this, it needs to come at a cost, and that is where we are. And it's also on 1.7 billion against 15 billion as the end product. Why do you call 1.7 billion a loss? Because let's say $15 billion, you enter 1.7 billion from it's still profit. So say gold board catcher will say, I'm gonna make you profit. Echo ya kwasia, oche unim nyansa, echo di ba omiechi or no economics papa. And Abeka say gold board has made a loss. That jandam is not working. The idea of the MPP, Afenyo Markin say, I'm to be good from him. It doesn't work like that. Go back and take your time, analyze the situation into the Sammy Gyamfi Kano. That is it. He has made profits. Let's give it to you people. Sammy Gyamfi and Bank of Ghana. At the end of the day, the market they were in the market they went into to buy the gold. They made a loss of 1.7 billion. Now they made a profit of 15 billion. Now take 1.7 billion from 15 billion. You can't tell me a loss is in here. So they are struggling to differentiate between loss and cost. What they did, in fact, if I could get the team, I wish I could. Team, I wish I could bring a document, but every good thing comes with a cost. And as far as at the end of the day, the end result is greater than the cost, there's no loss. Anything IMF could not explicitly say gold board and now Bank of Ghana making loss. No, because they wanted to get to a point. And then the explanation of that one, example, you buy a car for 100,000 Ghana cedis and spend 10,000 maintaining it. The 10,000 is a cost. See explanation. When you buy a car for 100,000 Ghana, now with the 10,000 and maintaining car, it is a cost. Now, if you later sell the car for 70,000, you have a 30,000 loss on the purchase. Now you understand. So what they did, what the Bank of Ghana, Sammy Gyamfi at a cost, if they can get enough gold, it comes at a cost. If they can get enough revenue from the money, Bank of Ghana, it comes at a cost. That cost, you cannot say it's a loss. Anytime we're bringing it down all the way to a Black Stars level. Anytime we're bringing it down all the way to Manchester City level. Into now Manchester City by the Arab money. The Arab money that came, basically they put somewhere a bit to me, I yielded that result. Intende Oka, one of the biggest clubs in the world, over Manchester City. I didn't know about Bolton. But the issue is because people cannot, MPP, you cannot mix cost with loss. You can't do that. You can never do that. And that is what they are forcing into the system. Where in a document and a chess Sammy Gyamfi aboka a Bank of Ghana maniska or no government can way Bank of Ghana maniska, and they made sure that somebody with enough gold about it should come at a cost. How do you do that? if you're going to trace the gold, if you're going to employ, if you're going to make sure that you are sane and it's done legitimately, you're going to make sure people are not smuggling, it comes at a cost. So that administrative cost is not a loss. That is what actually yielded that end game at 15 billion and over. No? So get that right. And the kind of moment here, a Juma and this in Sammy Gyamfi is solid. Yeah, as far as the gold board is in existence, the MPP can never come to power. Oma try BB and say no more AXA and omo jampo ba a petition. They don't know where to tackle because omo ba omiano wa bon na yiri di sledge. Dr. Sledge now to go now they can 97 million. Omo ba omia yire no o di sledge ba omia does not have brains to think. We need to get these things right. They know Baumia has no room in our politics. So Baumia in 2028, Oba as what? Is he coming as an economist? And when he was given the nod, what did he do as an economist? Is Baumia coming to tell us, say, our better plans to change gold board, Anna? Baumia Bekache say, only economics to change, and the finance minister, Anna. Baumia Bekache say, Obefejuma Wayne. These are people who have no aim. They are aimless. They are junkies. They are jokers. They don't know what to do again. And so they think say almost started Jandam, almost starting in Mrebi. Oh, John Koto hotel ha. Oh, where you see ha. Not time near Jimmy T. It's not going to work again. Jandam can never exist in our politics again. We are going to ask the questions. Oh, say Sammy Gyamfi press conference review. You know what's your argument? You know they have moved from MP and Gold Board Aboka to Sammy Gyamfi Muadi and Kwasiafo. Afenyo make Kwasiam penyi a odidi ajantra fo we. Okasa said hadwe e binigu nenum. Okasa mo tumentu fo. Kwasi ampenyi sane kasaba by heart na akwara yina no a odenyan say yina no say akwara ni muade. We want you people to prove exactly where Bank of Ghana making that 1.7 million billion loss. There's nowhere they could not show one document. Kwasi afo and you see Mama Ghana for atiase asem ba munya botre MPP omo Jimmy. They are naturally foolish. They were born stupid. Their leadership is stupid. They don't have a plan. Afenyo Markin yamani nipa 187 was in parliament. Omomu nyina ko fie akabe 88. Onimu nyansa. As far as he's there, I'm happy because Afenyo Markin that who a minority leader, the NDC will flourish because we're Jimmy. It is about emotions, sentiments. Today he's working here. Arabak Tokonu will become a CJ. He doesn't know. It's all about his relationship, what he did with people behind the scenes. It is not about the collective good of the party. Now MPP for Jimmy, they cannot differentiate between a leader and a sentimental fool. They don't get it. They don't understand it. The guy is emotionally attached to his stupid ego. He does not understand to say the politics we are doing today is different. He does not understand to say he's leading a group of monkeys who are supposed to reason like him. On Chelsea, into Onyabe Bitna, talking about the DCJ, Onyabe Bitna, Yaba Power, Onyabe Bitna, where Korea way. As a member of parliament, somebody who is part of the legislature, you could not provide one document to back your statement. Are you stupid? And we are going to support the gold board. We are going to support Sammy Gyamfi. We are going to make sure, sir, Germany announced a Sikeba and the $1 the age 11, 10. No, that is what we will do. Upia berewa baby okowudi emfame ho meka che John Mahama ni NDC for say moba dollar na was 17 about me record 17 months so baby edunu for 2 years almost 2 years we gina ho na mpe it was 10 11 enu tina me koto aba enu tina me ye dede say MPP for nkwasi afo free power me de baby ombesuma berewa na koto no baby okowu na emfame ho right now. Businesses, Obiasika is intact. Amount for capital is still there. We today, this is what we saw. This is what we have in the system today. Today, Messiah, I not pick that one. DDEP, this government or settle a car. This finance minister. We need to get serious. How many story be mamunti omo. Gold board, the internet gold board, ebe protect your gold, ebe making sure say, eyo mom ya galam say, ebe streamline it, obi antimi to galam say gold enyane, yebe nya dollar, yebe tuma to gold, yani anka sebe oni, yebe ton, and na ekoso no. Inti ye dey trying to pay day. Dey trying any pay day. Inti ba omi aso oba power ba dey. We are asking a simple question. Mahamudu ba omi an MPP, omo ba power ba dey, omo be gold board. Na yenye sika wa hene dey support economy no. Omo power omo ba yeden ba omi ade na obeye mo bodam ye ni abre de tia no muni manka.
There's been a call for a parliamentary probe, and I've already stated on public record that I'm waiting with bated breath for Afenyo Markin's invitation. And I don't know why he's delaying and holding press conferences when, as minority leader, he can get the Public Accounts Committee to summon me tomorrow or today and I will appear. I saw him dabbling in some confusion about standing orders of parliament and the fear that the majority may oppose a call for a probe into this matter. Well, I have, in all humility, reached out to the new majority leader in Parliament, Honorable James Agaga, and I pleaded with him that even if Afenyo delays in extending this invitation, he should extend the invitation to me. And I'm ready to come tomorrow. You don't need any special motion. You don't need any special order by the speaker. Just get Public Accounts Committee to invite us and come and sit down there and come and demonstrate to the whole nation where the good board made losses or how the good board is to blame for losses made by another institution. We are waiting for that. There's been a call for a parliamentary probe
into improved economic conditions for the Ghanaian people. Afenyo Markin's continuing antics, and I want you to listen to me very carefully here. Afenyo Markin's continuing antics must therefore be seen for what they are: a desperate smear campaign by persons who have specialized in sophistry and political blackmail in pursuit of selfish ends. These are devious extortionists who will come at you with lies to tarnish your reputation in the hope that you will fold and settle for what they call, quote, compulsory arbitration and oil their palms. Well, this time around, they found their own target. The Ghanaian people deserve serious public discourse founded on facts, evidence, truth, and not endless recycling of falsehoods in the hope that repetition will lend them credibility and turn fiction to facts. Gold Board will remain focused on its mandate. We will continue to account transparently for our stewardship, and we will not be distracted from the important work of creating value for the Ghanaian people from the exploitation of the good resources of our
management. Ladies and gentlemen, is simply intended to address a number of baseless allegations and deliberate falsehoods concerning the operations and financial health of the Ghana Gold Board that have been propagated by certain individuals in recent times. Of particular concern is a persistent campaign of lies being waged by one Alexander Afenyo Markin and his ilk against the Gold Board over the past couple of months. This sustained, relentless campaign reached a reckless crescendo yesterday at a press conference addressed by him within the precincts of Parliament. Afenyo Markin's modus operandi, which can no longer be allowed to go unanswered, is to repeat the same tired falsehoods as often as possible and on many platforms as he can, in the hope that repetition will somehow transform fiction into facts and mislead unsuspecting members of the public. The Gold Board therefore deems it necessary that the record be set straight once and for all to prevent him and others like him from continuing to distort the remarkable performance and transformational impact of the Ghana Gold Board.
Now we all know what Afenyo Markin stands for. He's a liar. Every liar is a thief. This is a man who slaps police officers. This is a man who deliberately disrespects the president by calling a woman who has been appointed by the president to take a petition from. This is a fool. This is a man who sent thugs to go after another man that he took his wife. His brother raped, trying to molest somebody's son. This is a man who called somebody in court, somebody fighting for the lives of his kid, to threaten them. This is a fool who sends his colleague from his law firm to adapt people's kids from their school. He's a filthy, dirty fool. Onimunyansa. This is somebody who stood in public trying to say that judges, our Supreme Court judges, without any evidence, said on national television that our Supreme Court judges ganged up, came together. This guy, who is a filthy lawyer, is not somebody to be trusted. Oh yeah, Jimmy Four. He is doing everything possible to keep this position that he has filled in. He came to meet 130 something people in parliament. Because of his foolishness and stupidity, they have all left parliament. This is a guy who can never be a leader of a group. Consistently lies about everything, malign people and try to destroy their lives in the name of politics. We are not supposed to entertain Afenyo Markin and his foolishness. He proves nothing. He has no evidence. All that he does is spits around, stupidly protecting Tokon, who was found guilty of a crime. And what makes this guy an honorable fool for us to be entertaining in parliament? We sit in Ghana. This young man Sammy Gyamfi responds to this fool, and the MPP are saying, "Oh, you talked back at Afenyo Markin, the idiot." But when he was speaking, why didn't you people question him? The guy has been a consistent fool who does not have any respect with him. Me a minority leader, a minority of 88 piglets. None of these people are able to sit this guy down to say, say party, no. Before you go out to speak, don't speak like the Salakau. Have some evidence. You see, Patricia PJ, Mamia Brewa, Poso, Neto Jene, na Akora Kitikiti, Alberto Nachempena, Awunichi, Edinechima, O Jimmy. No evidence. In Penifua Danenquara, Madania Jimmy for because of politics. We should swallow every nonsense. The MPP knows what's better for them. Until they change this dwarf, they can never win power. And the next 42 years is going to multiply to 60 years. And this is what we are talking about. We are talking about people who are not leaders. Where in this world now the team every first division, every premiership, akwa third division, na nkwasi afomo da ho deep coach nechi. Akwa we di monim ko elections na mo tumi, more power. Mo ye wiase bibia. This guy could not win power for you. More than who di Jimmy wechi. Every single day, screaming, backing, slapping policemen, going against the law, stupidly showing his ignorance at every corner that he finds himself. And you people think you are doing something different. You are doing nothing. The guy is a piece of crap. It's garbage. He does not understand his environment and how he needs to act. Into more mana, more MPP, he is just using you for money. What he came to do against Sammy Gyamfi was to intimidate him and extort. That is what he does. It was to extort from him. It was to make him feel, say, you are doing something wrong, but there's nothing wrong. And that is his modus. He has been doing this for years. Let me attack him. Let him threaten him. Me say we NPP, NDC appointee. Now we are Juma now. No fool should scare you. You bet you what to mob bodam. Power sasa, power besa. And that is his strategy. Otna aya ECG as a board chair. Oboboka buburo kwasi ampeyin koso dem. Ghana ni enka no krentra. Afenyo Markin, when he slapped a police officer, he was supposed to be jailed. The Attorney General when I say this Attorney General has a problem. Afenyo Markin should be facing trial. And we sit in Ghana, Jimmy Bianama to me, 87 piglets walking on the streets of Ghana, misbehaving and fooling themselves. Yachi wun to me atum, his actions has caused a lot of deaths. Nankwasi afwa motokan kan to say yantiasie, mo bodam, mo petumi, mo de yadeng. What do you need the power for? A day in a honorable woman. What makes you honorable people? Now, kwasiabi to Facebook don't put evidence no kasa. Now, who I see a leader of 87 piglets? You have no evidence. How different are you from that person? And these are people who are not supposed to be addressed as honorable. Afenyo Markin is a bully. He's an extortionist. On Kanokre, that is what he has been doing in his political life. Then you are going to threaten somebody, he will go to jail. In the political life, nobody is going to fall for this. Obia wedi boni also go jail, no, he needs to go to jail. Power sesa o chirichia, munchi obi antum kwasi asembe no. Now fighting the corruption, here the saying. Ye di mo atema mo say, ye muade, uni mi age, aka krebni me di 50 years. Kwasia, uni mi age, unhinim, aka krebni me di 50 years. Otu ase Kevin Taylor small boy, no brama bobi, more bodam. A politician needs to respect himself. And so ambunu nwa ye be di natem, and no fool can speak. Then obey. I am telling you, say, a politician will do it with Jimmy. And that guy is a typical example of a fool. Now, a whole political party, you had this number in parliament. Akwa did you consensus leader ever seen there? Where you nipa almost over half of your party, almost lose elections. Now, where Jimmy did Akwa, hey leader, hey way, or hey, Jimmy, more to me. Football team third division for Krampo H and Yomu coach. Akwa odi manimu we Jimmy. Ya catch them. You consistently follow this fool. On fa bibia meka mo ho. It's just to scream. All that he does is he pulls his dick out and follow Tokonu and say, Tokonu come to power, Tokonu come to power, pissing himself off. Every day, we're trying to quarter and Tokonu come to power. You think Tokonu Ghana belongs to her? Tokonu, you didn't think Ghana belongs to her? And nobody can impose Tokonu on anyone in Ghana. Yes. Wo araba Tokonu na koye papa yi man no. O so na pado bi ozeb na watch quarter and Tokonu beba CJ. Tokonu, you think you are stupid in this country? What Tokonu deserves is what she's gotten. We are not going to entertain foolishness. But today, the law needs to apply. Whoever is found guilty needs to go inside. Mo bottom.